Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 episode number 4 reaction. Right, so the previous episode, quite a few things happened. First of all, the beginning part, that is the first half of the episode, was fairly chill episode. Nothing much, went on. We saw Rico and Gojo and everyone else kind of hanging around, kind of living their final, her final few days. And yeah, then after they come back, Gojo actually had his infinity on up until then, but then he kind of lowered his guard after he got inside the barrier of so yeah, that is when Fushiguro took the opportunity to stab him, and from that point onwards, a series of crazy stuff starts happening. First of all, Fushiguro is somehow able to defeat Gojo, which was something that was I never thought would ever happen. But yeah, it apparently did, which kind of shows strategy and planning actually works out to can probably bring down like the strongest person. And that's what happened. Gojo was tired. He had his infinity on for a long time, and that is why when he lowered his guard, like Fushiguro came in and just one after the other executed his plan, which completely like was able to completely destroy him. And obviously, Gojo is alive in Jujutsu Kaisen, so I'm guessing he's going to somehow come back. Don't know exactly how, but let's wait and see. While after that, we get to see that Geto kind of tells Rico that, oh, do you want to leave? Like, we can leave if you want. You don't have to go through this. And Rico says that, yeah, I want to leave. But then Fushiguro comes in and shoots her. And obviously now Geto's pissed, and now Geto's going to fight him. So let's see what happens. Like, crazy stuff happened in the previous episode. So this is episode 4. Let's get started. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference. And let's begin. Alright, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, here we go. Oh, good God. Yeah. Oh boy. Ah. Right, here we go. Whoa, what's happening? Oh, he. Whoa! His aim! So wait, oh my. Um, right. Hmm. Hmm. All right. Oh boy, this is cannot place. Ah, I see. Yeah, that's true. True. Yep, that is exactly what. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's why he put it inside the. Dude. Wow. I keep a cursor. There you go. That thing. Yeah, I. Oh my god. That is why. Okay. August of the Invisible Man. Yeah. So he had it in his stomach and he just threw up. And I see. Huh. He's a. Oh wow. I was wondering why was he. Yeah. Oh damn. I see. Oh yeah. I was wondering. Probably. What? Oh my god. Whoa! Oh my god! Wow! Yeah, well, he has his sword is riffraff. Oh wow, the whole thing is falling down while they're just standing. Oh, wait, is this? No, what? Who's that? Whoa, whoa. Oh wait. Well, you're screwed either way. So what? Oh my god! Oh wait! Oh, he can. Oh yeah, it makes sense. He can do that. Surrendered and freely manipulate them. Oh. What? Oh no! Oh my god! All the while the whole thing was falling. Wait, why did it not work? He. Oh, that's why he didn't. Uh, that was make he remembered. Yo, that's why. Oh God. Okay, what is going to happen now? Okay. Yeah, he brought her here. Shigeru Sonoda. Well, because Gojo was there. Oh, I see. Oh, wow. And that's why he hired the. Okay, alright. Well, they don't care. There you go. Well, oh. Oh, he. Okay. So they were. Okay, I see. True. What? Yeah. Oh, wow, that's why. Okay. Wow, rejected. Okay, Everything seems too peaceful. I'm guessing Gojo and all of them will probably somehow going to. Let's see what happens. I doubt this is over. Oh! Oh! Well, you were fighting the strongest. Reverse cause. Okay. Negative energy. Negative energy. Okay, I need to come back and read this part again. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh god. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Red. Yep. Okay. Okay. Positive energy generated by the reverse, the limitless technique ingrained into him. Want the power to stop the neutral application. Power to attract, okay. Application. Repel, I see. Okay. I'll come back and read all that again. I need to properly understand. Okay. Yeah. Whoa. He's reading him. Like, damn. Well, you reached enlightenment. Yeah, this is basically enlightenment. Like everything is neutral. Like everything is equal. Like there's no hatred or damn technique that's passed on for generation of the technique. Yeah. Okay. Amplified and the reverses. Infinity to create and push imaginary mark. Oh, purple. Yeah, red and blue. Oh yeah, he's. Hmm. That's why he did it. Yeah, and that is why he decided to confront him, and that was the mistake. Yeah. Oh my god. Hmm. Wait, who was that? That wasn't. Oh, that was him. Okay, him and Megumi. Wow. So yeah, we got to get to know that Gozo's the one who killed his dad. There you go. And that is why Gojo came and talked to Fushiguro in, yeah, and brought him in because of this. Right. Wow. Okay. Well, right. At this episode, I need to read a lot of the sections to properly understand the logic behind the techniques. I'll go to those parts and read them one after the other. Oh boy. Okay, Geto's fine. Like he said, like he kind of did like that was a flesh wound. So yeah, and he decided to keep him alive because he is a curse manipulator. If he was a Shikigami user, he would have killed him because yeah, if he doesn't know what's going to happen to the curses if he kills a curse manipulator because they'll all be released, and that's why he doesn't want to go in that nonsense. So he's like, oh, that's why I'm keeping you alive. So Geto's alive. That is basically because of that. If he was a Shikigami user like Fushiguro, he would have been dead. Like not dead, but he would have killed him then and there. Okay, like all right. Okay. I'm wondering what we're going to get to see in the next episode. Like, oh wait, there's still something left. What the hell is that? Oh, it's the that thing because he. Oh wow, because he tried to absorb it. Remember? What is happening? Oh, he brought. Yeah. Wait, so they're still going to go through the. Who are these people? Oh, this is the religious group. Okay, I think so. Wait, why are they clapping? Wow. Okay. Wow, that last part was weird. What the hell was it? That seemed like some kind of an Evangelion scene of like, oh, everyone's clapping, good job. Like, that was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Like all these characters just staring at them. For a moment, I thought this was like some kind of a illusion or something. Like all these people, like what's going on? All right. What? Okay. That really seemed like a scene from Evangelion or something like that. Like everyone's just waiting there clapping. Okay. Right. This episode. Oh. Okay. First of all, like I said, I'm gonna go to that part and read that explanation that Fushiguro says. And yeah. Now, first things first, I need to say something here. Is that uh, Fushiguro, even though he killed Rico, he killed like I'm sure the maid girl also died. Almost killed Gojo and like killed Geto, almost killed Geto as well. You know, I feel like these are the type of villain characters that are very well written and very well kind of made. Like I feel like I don't know, like even though he did all of these things, which is something that he shouldn't have done. Like we established like a little character development with Rico and everything, and he he just killed them and did stuff like that. And we barely met this guy Fushiguro. However, but there's something within him that was, I don't know, what can I say? Like even though he did so many bad things, I don't actually hate him or like resent him. Like I feel like he's a cool character, and that's it. You know, he's dead. Obviously, like Gojo killed him, but like I still think he's a very cool character. I kind of like him. So it's a like it's like a very far cry from another villain in this same show, that is Mahito. Yeah, Mahito. I hate that character. Mahito is very. It's probably because I think like here the situation is Fushiguro is a killer and he knows what he's doing. You know, he doesn't have any type of agenda. He just wants to. He's like a mercenary. He's doing this mercenary job for money. You know, and this for him this is just a job. He's like in the neutral position. So maybe because of that, while Mahito's situation is completely different, where Mahito is like a more of a character who really wants to go against us for one of his own agenda. And yeah, because like throughout Jujutsu Kaisen season one, at the beginning I really didn't think much of him, but as time went on and on, I started really hating Mahito because he has this weird kind of thing. Because like I think like the hatred started from that point onwards when I realized that he was actually manipulating. That kid, I forgot his name, the one who became good friends with um Yuji. That kid. From that point onwards, I started really disliking him when I got to realize that. Before that, I really didn't think much of him. I was like, oh, he's kind of talking to him. He's a villain character, but he's talking to this guy, so okay. That's kind of weird, but that's kind of cool, like. But then when I realized that he was actually manipulating him, and like then after everything that goes escalates from that point onwards, everything related to Mahito started pissing me off, and I just hate that character. While here, Fushiguro is a type of character who I thought would be, I would hate, but I actually don't, even though he did so many things. It's a weird thing, Like I said, I feel like it's probably the because of their goals. Like Fushiguro was more of a neutral character. If we hired Fushiguro for something, he probably would have helped us and became our bodyguard. However, the religious group hired him. That's why he went for them. So the fact that he lacks any type of morality, and like that probably kind of makes it more better, I think, in my opinion. I don't know. And also the fact that he really impressed me with with his planning and everything. Like, and if someone goes through that length of like thing and goes against Gojo, you know, like, yeah, that's probably like the bigger reason, because I was really impressed by his planning and the way he did the whole thing. So his character has, that is something that I felt really like, like very fascinating about him, is that, as he said, he doesn't have any curse power, but he did all of these things like through normal investigation and normal brain work. All these monsters in front of him. Gojo is a literal monster. Geto and everyone, like these crazy people in front of him, while he's just a normal person who is kind of strong. Has that heavenly, like, that thing. And that's it. That's only it for him. Even in that situation, he was able to do this, like that. I feel like that's probably why I kind of, like, I felt respect in that department, and that is why I kind of, like, like I kind of like him as a character, unlike, like Mahito, who doesn't really have anything like that. He's just a nasty dude, just a nasty curse, and that's it. So yeah, that I just wanted to talk about this because I myself felt weird that I don't really hate this guy by the end of it. You know, like he died, and like and he, when he killed, and all, even after all of that, when he was talking about, like, brought Rico to that guy and all of that thing was happening, I didn't really feel any type of hatred against him. I was kind of fascinated by him. I'm like, damn, this guy actually did it. Like, hats off. Like going against Gojo is something. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because, yeah, like I didn't think this would happen. That I would actually like a character who is like this. But yeah, I think he deserves it. He actually was very smart. And he really showed us that, yeah, like, even characters like him, without any cursed power, can actually do something, with proper planning, proper, like, yeah. Anyways, enough of that. Like, okay, so let's talk about this. First of all, we get to see him shooting Rico, and then him coming in. Geto gets mad, and Geto's like, "Where's Gojo?" And he's like, "Oh, Gojo's dead." So yeah, they start fighting. So Geto uses his cursed, like, like manipulation, that thing that he does, brings out the dragon, and they start fighting. So right, okay, so the battle begins, and here Fushiguro talks about a few things. Right, okay, let me lead. Everything that he says is kind of interesting. I need to read everything here from here onwards. The tombs of the star and the forbidden vault use barriers that conceal, so they cannot place guards at the entrances. As long as you know where the doors are, they're full of holes. Okay. Okay, so he talks about all of these, and he talks about how he was literally an invisible man because he has no cursed energy, and then he explains, then how can I fight you guys? If I wield a cursor tool, you'll, like, realize I won't be an invisible man anymore. So he brought this thing with him. Where's that part where he says that? Okay. I keep a cursor spirit capable of storing objects around. There you go. And then he's like, but then if I have that cursor tool with me, then, like, I still won't be invisible. So what to do? He made it small and swallowed it. And he says, since I am an invisible man and the cursor tool is within my stomach, technically the cursor tool is also invisible. Like, I don't know how that actually works. Okay, I make the cursor spirit smaller until I can fit it inside my body. Keep it inside my stomach. All the organs of invisible man are invisible. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how does that work? Like, I can understand the cursed organs, organs of a cursed, god damn it, organs of an invisible man are invisible, but I don't understand the logic that if inside that invisible thing you keep something visible, then that will be invisible as well. Like, that's a weird logic, isn't it? But I guess, oh, you know what? I can see what he's trying to say. I can understand now. Because yeah, if the container that he's putting the thing in is invisible, then I guess technically it is also invisible because the container itself is invisible. So, you know what? I can see his point, what he's trying to make. Yeah, like, and it's a weird like comparison to make, but this kind of reminds me of, like in computers when you hide folders, there's like an option, like you have like a folder inside, there's like multiple folders. So if you want to hide a specific folder, they give you the question that do you want to hide the folder only, or do you want to hide the folder and all the folder inside of it? If you click the other option, that all the folder inside of it, it takes a while for them to actually hide the folder, because they try to hide everything else as well. That is why, like, I never do that. I hide the folder only, and it still works out, because the folder, the big folder inside where all the other folders are, that is hidden, so all the other folders are also hidden. Technically, they're not hidden, but at the same time they're hidden because the container is hidden. So I don't know, that weird comparison I made, but that kind of reminded me of that. Right, either way. Okay, right, so he talks about like all of these things, and Geto's like, stop talking. You have a heavenly pact, right? I know revealing information about your ability increases its fundamental strength, just like for a sorcerer. And that is why he's talking. I'm like, why is he talking and giving out all the secrets? There you go, that is why. Okay, so he's like, we didn't even leave any slight residuals as well. How did you know? So he says that humans leave plenty of traces aside from residuals, scents, footprints, and so on. My pack enhances all of my five senses. So that is what I'm saying, like, in front of these monsters who have like literal cursed techniques and powers, he who has none, his heavenly pact enhances his own five senses. So what he's doing is literally using normal investigation skills, even though that's a little bit boosted. It's still normal investigation skills. Like he says, I saw the footprints, I saw the, like the smell and everything. All of my five senses I used, my heightened senses, to track you guys down. So there you go. That is the whole thing, and that's why I'm saying, like, this is kind of impressive. Like, even though he has the heavenly pact, it still doesn't, like, it still kind of is impressive that without any cursed technique he was able to do all of this by just investigating like a detective. And we saw what he did. He made this whole plan about tying down Gojo and attacking at the appropriate moment. Even the Okinawa kidnapping was his plan. So everything. Not only that, he lured in the other groups using the bounty that he got from the original group and put a timer so that, like, he knows like all the other riffraffs won't be able to defeat Gojo, so his money will be safe because no one will be able to get that bounty, and he put the timer so that after the timer Gojo lowers his guard. So like everything was properly planned, like he probably had a flow chart, like, oh, this is going to happen, after that this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and everything worked accordingly. Like his whole plan from the beginning to the end is very impressive. That's like something crazy. So okay, Geto asks, like, there was another woman here, and he's like, oh, I don't know, like maybe he's dead, maybe she's alive, who knows. She should be dead, or maybe she's alive. So I don't know, like, I guess he like hit her or something, and like she probably like fell down or was like unconscious, or maybe she died. He himself doesn't know. He didn't really see. So okay. So right, they start their battle again. Geto uses his dragon, and he uses his sword to, like, cut the dragon. Right, so while all of this is happening, there's this one section where they come with the whole section falls down. Suddenly a random apparition comes in. Wait, oh no, wait, is this... Oh wait, let me know. Was this one of Geto's curses? Because yeah, like, how did this random thing... Oh yeah, it is... Okay, I remember her. Yeah, I remember her. Geto literally brought this thing out in the previous episode. When he was ready to fight, this thing came out. I remember. Okay, so yeah, this is one of Geto's curses. Yeah, I was wondering, how did this random thing come suddenly? So yeah, there you go. It was Geto's curse. One of the apparitions he kept. So this thing is kind of like, what do they call that? That, no face, that woman no face or something. I don't know the particular name, but there's an urban legend, Japanese urban legend, that when you go home from your house, a lady comes and they, like, they asks, like, oh, am I pretty? And if you say that, oh yeah, you're pretty, I think she's going to follow you throughout and ask the same question and follow you to your house and then like kill you or something. And if you say that no, you're not pretty, then she'll kill you either way. So you're screwed either way. That kind of thing. I think that I like that's what I heard as far as I can remember from the different animes and everything I've seen. So this is that. So she asked the same question, am I pretty? So Fushiguro is like a potential apparition. Deploys a simple domain that enforces non-violence on both of us until I answer the question. So like I said, until he answers the question, he cannot do anything. Not only that, his answer, even if it's positive or negative, he's screwed either way. So he says like, well, yeah, you're not my type. And as soon as he says that, his ears got cut, hairs get cut, and then he just takes out his sword and just does this whole thing. And I'm guessing answering the question probably like nullified that non-violence thing, and that's why he was able to use it again. So Geto tries to absorb that curse on his shoulder. So he explains what the whole situation. He explains it. He says, curse manipulation, technique that lets me absorb cursed spirits that have surrendered and fully manipulate them. If there's a roughly a 2 grade difference in our levels, I skip making them submit and absorb them unconditionally. So he thought that was going to work. His cursed spirit may have a unique ability, but it's not that strong itself. So here's the thing. This is one thing that I don't understand. He absorbs it almost, but then something happens. What happened here? Okay, I don't think they gave any explanation to this. What happened here? Why was he not able to absorb it? Because he says that it's weak, even though it's, you know, like it's a cursed technique, but it's weak power-wise. So I should be able to absorb it, but it doesn't happen. Some kind of force field kind of repels him or something. Right, taking this opportunity, Fushiguro just slashes like this, and you know, like he does say that it's a flesh wound, and he avoided to actually kill him because, you know, like he doesn't know like what's going to happen to his curses. Since he's a curse manipulator, he doesn't want to take that risk. If he was a Shikigami user, he would have killed him. And he's like, you guys, you know, like you guys are cursed users, you know, like you have so many blessings, but you are beaten by a monkey like me who can't even use curse techniques. And you can see how salty he is because of the whole Zenin clan. How, you know, like we saw like how he himself says later on that the Zenin clan rejected him, and he's so salty that he wanted to prove them wrong, and this is the result of it. It's a pretty damn impressive result, I have to say, because he defeated not only Gojo, Geto, every freaking character he defeated here without any cursed techniques. And yeah, I can say that he proved himself correct. He proved his point that, you know what, I don't need any cursed techniques. I can do this without any of that. And yeah, you know, like that's why I said like this was impressive. And okay, this part is kind of funny. Wait a minute, let me read this part. Okay. The reason why he remembered Megumi is because he says that blessing in Japanese is megumi or megumareta, as he says, like this blessing. Like that is why he actually remembered Megumi, because his son's name is Megumi. So when he says megumareta, after saying that, he's like, oh, wait a minute. I have a kid. I just forgot about him. And now I remember because I said Megumareta. He remembered Megumi. And he remembered that. He's like, yeah. Oh, speaking of blessings, Megumi. Oh, that's right. I forgot. I named him Megumi. Okay, then after that we see Gojo's like doing something. So here we go. Right, so after that you can see that Fushiguro has brought Riko in front of these the religious group leader or whatever he is, representative, whatever, and you know, like he's like, oh, you did a good job, I'm going to pay you more, a little bit extra bonus. While this guy, the contractor, he's like, oh, I thought you were going to just whine or something, like, oh, like, but you're actually giving us more. Like, that's kind of surprising. And he kind of says that, okay, I'm going to read this part because he explains about Tengen and everyone else's relationship and how, with what type of balance they have. Right, I'm going to read this part. Okay, we hired you for the assassination expecting it would fail. A star religious group was founded in the Nara era when Tengen Sama began preaching about the moral foundation of Jujutsu sorcerers as a minority as Buddhism spread through Japan. Oh, Jujutsu society and religious corporations are at completely odds with each other. That strain is what gave birth to our modern star religious group, the Time Vessel Association. Okay, that is why we have devoted ourselves to remaining non-sorcerers. Yeah, because sorcerers and the religious society, they are kind of going against each other. That is why the people who are in this group, obviously they cannot become sorcerers because that will defeat the whole point. That'll be a betrayal. So yeah, so that is why they don't have any sorcerers within them, and that's why they're screwed, and that is why they had to hire people, to do their job because they don't have any Jutsu sorcerers within them. Jutsu sorcerers are granted many privileges above the law, but they're still fundamentally forbidden to lay a hand on non-sorcerers. Another reason why they decide to stay non-sorcerers is because the Jutsu sorcerers won't be able to get them directly. Like, they are safe. So that's why they're like, yeah, they cannot attack us, but we can hire other people to attack them. It would have been funny if the Jutsu sorcerers also hired other people to take care of them, but I guess that never happened. Anyways, the time had finally come, the time of the taboo recorded in our scriptures. Our star religious group has evolved to a monotheistic religion worshipping one absolute God, and it was time now that for our object of worship to assimilate with that impurity. Okay. If I believe I saw. Wait, I don't understand this part. What? Just a minute. It was time for our object of worship. Oh. Oh, wait. Am I misunderstanding something? Just a minute. Just a minute. Preaching about the moral foundation of Jesus as the minority as Buddhism. Uh, okay, they're all at each other, strain that gave birth to our modern star religious group. Okay, time vessel association. Non-sorcerers. This is also I can't remember. Wait. Okay, I don't understand one thing here. He says in the end that our group has evolved as a monolithic religion worshipping one absolute God, and it was now time for our object of worship to assimilate with the impurity. Object of worship, he's talking about Tengen, isn't he? That's why I'm confused. Wait, is he like, okay, I'm kind of confused here. Like, yeah, because we kind of established it before that they don't want Tengen to assimilate with a normal non-sorcerer because that would be impure. That is their logic. So, up until now, I was thinking like he was talking against Tengen. Wait, is he talking for Tengen? Yeah, because that would make more sense. But then why is he... I'm a bit confused here. You know what? I'm going to search something. I'm going to search about the Star Religious Group. One thing I need to make clear here. Star Religious Group Jujutsu Kaisen. One thing I need to... Okay. Oh, there you go. Worships Master Tengen as their deity. There you go. Okay, began in Nara during a time when Master Tengen first began to spread Japanese Buddhism. They preached what would become the foundation of Jujutsu sorcerers. However, the worlds of Jujutsu and the religion didn't agree, and the time this association was born from their disparity. Group maintained the monastic ideals all the way until the modern age. Wealthy religious groups operated in the star valley of the Jujutsu world. They worshipped Master Tengen as a sovereign deity, star, making the organization a star religious group. The public, a congregation of non-curse users that can be targeted by Jujutsu sorcerers, followers of the faith were called children of the. Okay, so yeah, there you go. Okay, so for a moment I was thinking like he was talking about, okay, this part kind of confused me. Right, so he and the group actually like kind of worships Tengen as their, like their god. Like what, what confused me is that we are going against them. So in my head automatically I thought they're against us. But like it was established before, I just forgot about it, that they are actually, I guess in a weird way, like I wouldn't call them on our team, but these people actually worship Tengen. So the reason why he's against us is because they are trying to stop Tengen from assimilating with a non-sorcerer and making him unpure. That's why they're against us. Like I forgot about that, and since they're against us, I thought they were like actually working against us, and like they are against Tengen or something. But no, that's not the case. They're definitely working against us, but they're not against Tengen. They revere Tengen as a god, and that's why they're like like doing this type of thing and trying not to Tengen become impure in their word. And that's why he's like, yeah, so now like everything worked out. We didn't really didn't expect any good positive outcomes coming from this. That's why I'm giving you more money. All right, there you go. That explains it. Right, that cleared a few things up. So after that, they come out and like Geto, not Geto, sorry, Fushiguro asks him about the Kuroi, and he's like, oh, why didn't you kill her? I told you to kill her. So here we go. Here we get to know that this whole Okinawa trip was also their plan, this kidnapping thing. And he says that I didn't kill her because like going to, okay, where's that part? Made the call that the relief from the maid's successful rescue would wear him down more than the heightened tensions from failure, which is kind of smart because yeah, I've saved you, thank God. Oh, I can lower my guard a little bit. That if they killed her, adrenaline rush and like the reason like they had failed, all these things would probably be more in Gojo's head, and he'd be more alert. So again, another subtle detail that they did that would make make Gojo lower his guard. Right. So here, I'm calling him Geto. Fushiguro, he's like, oh, like we got money today. You treat me to something, and he's like, I don't want to associate with you anymore. Goodbye. So he leaves, and Fushiguro starts walking, and I was like, yep, this time I'm pretty sure Gojo's going to come meet him. And yeah, Gojo's here, and he looks at him as if he's seeing a ghost, and he's like, what the hell? He's still alive, this monster. And he, and he realizes that he's like in a high, in a heightened sense. Like he's just full high on like an adrenaline. Okay, so I'm going to read this part because they explain a lot of things here. Right. And okay, he says that I'm alive and kicking. Reverse cursed technique. And he's like, bingo. So he explains what he did. When you stabbed me through the throat, okay, I gave up on counterattacking and put all my focus into the reverse cursed technique. Okay. Cursed energy is negative energy. Yeah. While it can enhance the body, it cannot regenerate it. Okay, that makes sense. I see. So you multiply that negative energy against itself to create positive energy. You multiply the negative energy against itself. Right. Okay, yeah, minus minus plus. Right. That is the reverse cursor technique. I see. So this reverse cursor technique is actually something that can heal him, I'm guessing. No, as he said, it cannot regenerate normal cursor technique. So using cursor technique on top of cursor technique, minus minus will make it plus, that is positive, and that is how the reverse cursor techniques work. So reverse cursor technique is something positive for you, while cursor technique is something negative or enhancement, I think. So wait, oh, this kind of okay, interesting. So I'm guessing Shoko also uses reverse cursor technique because she's a doctor. If she wants to heal someone, that would be reverse cursor technique, wouldn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Right. And he says that easier said than done. I hadn't been able to do it up until that time myself. I couldn't understand anything the one person who could do it said. Oh, I'm guessing he's talking about Shoko, is he? I don't know. Like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, because according to like what he says, it would mean that Shoko can use reverse cursor technique because she's a doctor and she heals other people. Because cursor technique cannot heal, it enhances. So cursor technique on top of cursor technique make his reverse cursor technique, which is something that can do to heal. And that's why I'm guessing he's saying I couldn't understand anything the one person could do it said. Yeah, so that is Shoko. Oh yeah, I do remember them talking about this. And what was it, episode 1 or was it episode 2? Where, yeah, Gojo kind of comments something about how Shoko tries to teach him, but the way he teaches him doesn't make sense. So he cannot understand what she's saying. Something like that he says, I remember. Okay. So yeah, he's kind of in an adrenaline rush. And he says, I finally grasped it on the verge of death. True essence of cursed energy, the reason you're going to lose is because you didn't chop my head off and because you didn't use that cursed tool when you stabbed my head. Right. Right, so they start battle. Yeah, and this time you can see that Gojo's like dodging everything and, like Gojo like literally goes behind him. And he says, cursor reversal technique reversal, red. So here you go, red repels, as we know. So it repels him and like shoots him towards like the building. So Gojo's like floating in the sky. Yeah, so he says, oh, you monster. Fushiguro gets up. Alright, here he gives a few explanations, which I again will read because this part I wasn't able to properly concentrate. Okay, no bones broken. Okay. That shock wave was an application of Limitless. The cursor technique reversal red. Limitless, the cursor technique reversal red. Okay. He poured the positive energy generated by the reversed cursor technique into the limitless technique ingrained into him. Okay. 1. The power to stop the neutral application of the limitless technique. Oh, okay. Yeah, the limitless technique, the neutral application of it is stopping, which he does. Okay. 2. The power to attract. Amplified technique of the limitless technique blue, which he has been able to use up until now. We saw him use it, but we remember he wasn't able to use red up until now. He tried to do it, but it didn't work because it had cursor reversal technique ingrained into it. However, I'm guessing blue doesn't require that. So amplified application of the limitless technique blue. Okay. Okay, wait. Okay, let me go back. Okay, neutral is stop. Amplified version of it is to attract, which makes sense, So you try to do something, you stop it, that is the neutral stance. If you amplify it, it's going to attract. Right. And according to that, it would mean that the reverse of it, that is the cursor reversal technique, if he puts it into limitless, that is the power to repel, which is opposite to blue. So, okay. Up until now, I was so confused about this power that he has. This cursor reversal technique, red and the blue. He used it before. I was so confused. I was like, what is he doing? Like, I could understand what he's doing, but didn't know the theory behind it. Okay, Fushiguro actually explained it really nicely. So there you go. The power to repel, reversal of the cursor technique, red. Okay, so there you go. It's very simple, actually. As Gojo says, that cursor reversal technique is something that is used to do something positive, unlike cursor technique, which is negative. It cannot regenerate, so cursor reversal technique is used in that situation. So if you use cursor technique on top of cursor techniques, minus minus will make it plus, positive, that is cursor reversal. This cursor reversal technique is something that he put into limitless, which made it red. That is the power to repel. Unlike the normal application of limitless, which is neutral, that is stop, and the amplified version of it, that is blue, that is attract. So up until now he was able to do the neutral version and the attracting version, that is blue, but now that he can pour cursor reversal technique in it, he can reverse it and make it red, that is repel. There you go. Right. Okay, I think I pretty much understand what's going on. Alright. So here you can see that Fushiguro is like, oh, something is off. What is off? I don't understand. And Gojo's like still kind of floating. And yeah, he's like, something is off. What is off? And he's like, oh, you know what? It's fine. Let me do it with like this. I'll kill you. And he uses his that thing to attack. Okay, now here, interesting thing happens. Gojo just dodges everything. Right. So here, this part is amazing, I have to say, because the way they do this here is that he says, sorry, Amana, I'm not even angry over you right now. I bear no grudge against anyone. Like I said, this is literally enlightenment. You know, enlightenment is a situation where you are able to kind of detach yourself from everything around you. You know, positive things doesn't feel positive, negative things doesn't feel negative. You're in neutral state. You know, it's extremely difficult to go to that stage, but if you're able to do it, you become enlightened. You know, like if something good happens to you, you won't feel anything. If something bad happens to you, you won't feel. And that's why he's like, I don't feel sad or angry for you. I'm sorry, Amanai. It's just that the world feels so wonderful right now. Like I said, he was able to detach himself from everything. And he can see the light or whatever. Like I said, this is literally enlightenment. You know, like in Buddhism, like enlightenment, or you know, like that, you know, like that whole thing. So like they kind of show everything here, like the butterflies, the, you know, like the world, the sun, and Gojo's just there, detached from everything. And he says like, throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one. And here he uses, okay, the merit of having a technique that's passed down for generation is having a user's manual. The demerit is that information about the technique is easily leaked. Yeah? You were a member of the Zenin clan, weren't you? That is why you know so much about the limitless technique. Yeah, because it has been passed around, and that is why he knows about it so much. That's why he was able to give us such a beautiful explanation about the red and the blue, which I up until now had no understanding what that was, but Fushiguro's explanation made me understand everything. So, okay. And he says, however, this is a little bit different because even in the Gojo clan, only a scant few know about this. And he uses his new technique that is right. Okay. The amplified and the reversal, take them, then smash them together. Those two different expressions of infinity to create and push out imaginary mass. So attraction and repel, put them together to create and push out an imaginary mass. Okay, imaginary technique, purple. And it just, right, wait a minute, isn't this the same theory of a black hole? Like how black holes are made? Okay, wait a minute, I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting. No, I remember. There's like what was it? No, there was something. Okay, I'm mixing something else up here. But I remember like this actually being something that was used. Oh God, I cannot remember. Attraction and repel. If you put them two together, you know, attraction repelling. Uh, right. I don't remember. It's like I remember there was a certain thing that was like similar way. Attraction and repel was used to do something. Like I think it's something related to a black hole. I don't exactly remember what it was, but it's kind of like the same theory and how you can make a mini black hole or something like that. I don't know. Um, but anyways, he does this and he literally blows a hole to Fushigoro's stomach and like and in the back building as well. There's like a gaping hole. So here Fushigoro's like, why did I act like this? You know, if this was me, I never work for anything other than money. You know, if it was like the normal me, I would have just hightailed out of here because this is not part of the job description. But I decided to stay here and fight him. And you can see what he's trying to say here. He says like the freshly awakened wielder of the limitless technique was right before my eyes. Probably the strongest jutsu sorcerer in modern age. And for him, Gojo in this situation was a representative of everything that rejected him. You know? Gojo, as he says, like is the strongest jutsu sorcerer. And this jutsu sorcerers, everyone, the Zenin clan, rejected him because he didn't have any cursed technique. And to him, in front of him, Gojo was literally something that he wanted to prove wrong. And that is why he decided to stand his ground and go against Gojo and prove everyone wrong and defeat Gojo, kill Gojo, and say that, yeah, you see, I don't need my cursed technique. You guys, you Zenin clan, you threw me out, but I proved you wrong. So in front of him, Gojo was literally the personification of that, of the rejection that he faced. Seeing in front of him this person. So he had to defeat him. And that is why, as he said, that I made a mistake then. You know, I decided to stay here and fight this monster. And that is why I'm reaping the you know, like, here we go, I wanted to reject him. I wanted to, you know, like, I twisted myself to try to affirm myself. Yeah. That is when I lost. And the whole thing falls down from his hand. And he says that he kind of remembers Fushiguro. And for a moment I was like, who is this guy? And then I realized it's literally him with long hair. You know, kind of like carrying Fushiguro. Not Fushiguro, sorry, Megumi. Both of them are Fushiguro. Megumi. And he says, I thought you had chosen to live without respecting yourself or anyone else. So why did I do this? As he says, like, this was foolishness of me. But I had to prove myself. Like, he thought that he has let go of all of this pride and everything, but no, he still had it. So here he says, when Gojo's like, any last words, he says that, no, but, you know, he kind of remembers Megumi and he says like, oh, you know what? There's a kid. Okay, where is it? My kid will be sold off to the Zenin clan within a few, I think, months or something. He said, like, do whatever you will. And he dies here. And I'm guessing, like, listening to this, Gojo then went to Fushiguro and brought him in. Because I remember in Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1, we got to see that happen. Right. So after that, after the end credit scene, here you can see that, first of all, that curse thing comes in front of Geto and is like, oh, mommy. It kind of makes sense because Geto kind of tried to absorb it. I guess that's why it kind of imprinted himself on it. And seeing this, Geto realized that something happened to Fushiguro. And that's why he runs off. And he's like, who could defeat him? Obviously, must be Gojo. So he thinks like, oh, Gojo's alive then. He realized then and there. And oh, so I'm guessing he was coming back from Shoko. Like, you know, like after getting treated by her. So he realized that it must be Gojo. He starts running. And he goes inside that building, you know, like where Riko's dead body was supposed to be. I'm guessing the Star Religious group's headquarters. Okay, like I said, this is a scene out of Evangelion, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Everyone's there clapping. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, Gojo comes in. I'm guessing they're all clapping because Rico's dead and he won't be able to assimilate with Tengen. So they all look like freaking NPCs in a video game. They, with all their smile and just doing this. Like, this was a weird scene, you know? Like all these people. Okay, so he comes in and Gojo's like, oh, you came quickly. So you went to... there are several Star Religious group facilities in the city after all. That's why, oh, he was going through all of them. And he's like, oh, Gojo, is that you? And he's like, oh, you saw Shoko, right? She healed you? Okay, so... And he's like, oh, you're not at fault, Geto. Geto's like, let's go back. And he says like, oh, so should we heal these guys? The way I feel like now, I doubt I'd feel anything about it. Because, you know, they're also literally the reason why all this happened. And Geto's like, oh no, there's no point. It looks like there are only common believers here, so mastermind who know about our world have probably fled already. Unlike with the bounty, they won't be able to talk their way out of this. Organization has problems to begin with. It will be dissolved soon enough. No point. Does there really need to be a point to it? Interesting. So there you go. You can see here, we saw this before as well. Geto's always like going according to the rules. Remember in the first or the second episode where they were playing basketball or whatever, Gojo said something completely that goes against their rules, while Geto was like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. You know, like you should follow the rules. And you can see here how Gojo's like, oh, rules, like, does it matter anymore at this point? And you can see that Geto himself kind of understands what Gojo's saying, and he probably believes what Gojo's saying as well. But he obviously is trying to kind of stop himself from going and thinking in that direction, because yeah, rules. That's literally. And one of the rules, if you remember, as they said, Jujutsu sorcerers are not supposed to attack non-sorcerers. No. And these guys, they know nothing about the Jujutsu world, so you cannot attack them. The higher-ups that know about it, they could have attacked them, but they're not here. That's a rule, you know, and that's why Gojo's saying, rule, does it matter anymore at this point? You know, however, Geto's like, nah, you can see like, you know, his hand is kind of there. His kind of, you can see he's like, his frustration's building up. He himself knows what Gojo's saying and he understands his sentiment. However, he cannot do anything here because rules. And he's like, yeah, it is very important there is, especially for a Jujutsu sorcerer. And he's just there, everyone clapping. Like I said, this was a very good episode. Another brilliant episode. I really love this episode. And like I said, Fushiguro, he was definitely a villainous character, but by the end of it, I was really impressed by his, I guess you could say, his cleverness, his planning, and everything that he did. That really impressed me. So I really cannot like hate him. I kind of feel fascinated by him, even though he did all of these bad things, you know. And yeah, like as a villain, as a bad, like, you know, like villainous character, he impressed me, and that's probably why I don't feel any hatred for him. And the fact that he also, this was literally like a mercenary, like a job for him, you know. He didn't have any personal grudge or anything of like that. He did it for the money, you know. And yeah, I guess you cannot, you know, like, cannot hate a character like that. Like, he just did it for the money. It's like a job, you know, like just he got hired for that particular position. He knew what the advantage and the disadvantage to that was, and he knew it and he did it. And obviously, he fully knew that he could die here as well, and that is exactly what happened. So he knew the responsibility, he knew the pros and the cons to it. He took it, he did the job, and by the end of it, he died. So that is why, like I said, I don't really feel any hatred towards him. I'm kind of impressed by his work ethics and his way of doing everything, and his brain, his planning. That impressed me. But anyways, that was it. And here, this episode also very nicely explains to us about the curse reversal technique, the red, the blue, and everything related to Gojo. A lot of the things are explained here, which I wasn't really clear up until now, but this episode cleared everything up. If I have any misunderstanding about anything, correct me in the comments. So that is it. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next week with another episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.